Now, if you can speak towards the kind of the supernatural aspect, if you get a case within your wheelhouse today, and someone says, I saw a demon push the guy out the window, or there was an angel that came by and shot the person. How do you? It seems like you would have to take those claims seriously today, because you're looking at New Testament documents that have fantastical claims, and the whole idea of fantastical claims require fantastical evidence. How do you deal with that today, and kind of how do you answer that objection?
I get this question a lot, surprisingly.
Darn, I thought I had something original.
Yeah, sometimes people will say it this way: well, if you're investigating a case today, you're not going to jump to supernatural explanations. So in your work, you never jump to supernatural explanations. Well, I will tell you that I'm working on a series right now where we're actually addressing this very issue, but it's not as though as a Christian I am, as a believer, I am not opposed to looking at supernatural explanations. I'm not. I mean, how could I be and be honest about my approach to Scripture? Do I believe it or not? The idea that there is an invisible world and that there are forces, personal agents, invisible personal agents in the world acting is a concept that's in Scripture on the pages of the New Testament. So what I would do, now I just have never had a case though. Again, what I do, living in a material world with this invisible, unseen realm, is that I first exhaust what's in the material realm. I would expect anyone doing this kind of work to first exhaust what is available to me as in the material realm that God has created. And if I get to the end of that and there's no explanation in the material realm, then why wouldn't I be willing to jump to an immaterial explanation? I'm somebody who's a dualist. I believe in such things. My problem is in my work, I've never exhausted the material realm without coming to a suspect. Mm-hmm. So what can I say? Now, I'm looking for cases right now in which you could exhaust the material realm, and the best explanation is something immaterial. So I think they're out there. But right. The question is, where are they, and what nature would they be, and who's in a position who could really investigate such things to be? Well, I have a template. I'm not going to share it with you today because we're still working on this. But it's a template in which would help us to exhaust material explanations. Mm-hmm. So I see as Christians, we're not going to jump. Look, I'm somebody who believes that the DNA that guides all of the formation of biological systems and processes in your body is best explained by a personal agent who has given us the information which we find in DNA. Right. But I won't go there if I can find some material cause. The problem is that sometimes the best explanation is immaterial and intelligent. So, for example, I always say it this way. If I've got a death at a scene, I'm not sure how this person died, but they struck the ground in such a way that they cut their head and there's blood spatter on the wall. Sometimes that blood spatter won't really help me because it doesn't tell me how they were thrown to the ground or how they got on the ground, but it can tell me something about the geometry of the strike on the ground. And knowing enough about physics and chemistry, the chemistry of blood and the physics of that blood spatter, I can maybe account for why there is spatter on the wall in that way. I can offer a material cause. But if I get there and there's not blood spatter, but instead in the victim's blood, it says he deserved it written on the wall. Am I really going to stop and say, well, how do I explain that with just physics and chemistry? No. I think it's reasonable at that point to be looking for a personal agent. And so I think there are, as a Christian, I'm not somebody who says I'm going to jump right away to the personal agent. God did it. God did it. God did it. I'm going to go through a process that gets me there eventually. But I want to know, because I believe that God is the creator of this environment that we live in, and we're told in Romans 1 that there's evidence of God in our environment. I just feel that's where I start. I'm a physical being, so I'm best able, I think, to start with physical processes. But once those are exhausted, I think I can go to personal agency, or I can go to some other form of non-material cause.